Hello everybody and welcome back to another brand new Doctor Who video where we're getting really close to the finale of Doctor Who Flux, The Vanquishers, so join me to get all my thoughts, theories, previews, predictions for this week's finale. So yes, just quickly before we get started guys, please do hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I know I've been getting lots of new subscribers recently with all the new videos and the new episodes obviously. So please, if you are new here, smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well, just to show me you guys are all appreciating the content. But yes, so The Vanquishers, as I said the other day, it could be Chris Chibnall's defining episode of Doctor Who. But what is going to happen? Like, where are we at and what is going to happen in this episode? So obviously we left it in Survivors of the Flux with, well, a Sontaran invasion of Earth run by the Grand Serpent. He's been introduced to infiltrate UNIT, taken over UNIT, kind of destroyed UNIT, bringing in the Sontarans. They're now attacking Earth throughout history. We've seen from the Next Time trailer that they clearly are going to succeed, at least in taking over Earth. And so somehow the humans are going to have to fight back against the Sontarans and the Grand Serpent to be able to take the Earth back. Obviously also a part of the whole destroyed Flux universe that we're setting it in as well. So yes, that was kind of one of the last minute sort of plot additions almost to set up a big Sontaran invasion of Earth for the finale, which really wasn't signposted or expected at all earlier in the series. It just kind of suddenly happened and turned up, and that's where we're at. But then alongside that, as I say, we have the Flux, which has destroyed most of the universe. The kind of ultimate decision that Chris Chibnall has to make as a writer is how to resolve that. Is it going to be that the Universe 2 that was introduced in the previous episode is going to be where we end up at the end of this episode? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the multiverse. In this episode, it's first sort of properly established in Doctor Who as a multiverse of different universes within a wider... I don't know, what's the word for a set of universes, or a space, because like there's a galaxy and then there's a universe that has galaxies and planets in, but what has universes in? The multiverse, I guess. I assume that's what it is. But yeah, so that's a significant thing that's been added into the show, and I'm really intrigued to see where that goes. Sort of my prediction is that we will end up in Universe 2 by the end of this story. Whether it's that, like, the whole kind of Universe 1 has really ended and we're all migrating over to Universe 2, the ramifications of that, I have no idea and no concept or understanding of it. But I feel like that's probably where we're going to end up. Otherwise, it just would seem a bit pointless to introduce and establish this whole idea of a multiverse and other universes if we're not then going to explore them. So I don't think it would make any narrative sense for us to not end up there in some form by the end of this episode. I also think that the Doctor Who social media team have been hinting at this for a long while, as they've been having their social media avatar logo thing going gradually from orange through green and so on, all the way to blue. And of course, Universe 1 that we saw in this episode was orange, and Universe 2 is blue. So that could also define the fact that we're moving over from Universe 1 to Universe 2. So yeah, I just think it's all pointing in that direction. But then the Doctor also has some technobabble in Survivors of the Flux about how there's some sort of compression on the universe which can be decompressed, which also sounds like some sort of setup for some, narrative conclusion in the next episode. I don't know, like the universe has been compressed down and they're going to decompress it, so, open it back up again and it's suddenly going to all pop out again or something. I really hope we don't end up with a Last of the Time Lords type, let's press the reset button and go back a year. It kind of works, but it really feels like a cop-out. And especially when we've had 5 episodes of build up to this finale, I feel like they've really got to do the solution to the Flux properly. It can't just be a reset button, because we've seen the threat of it, the destruction of the universe. Surely that's got to have some long-lasting consequences. It can't just all be gone and sorted in the space of 5 episodes. But yeah, so that's clearly one of the most significant parts of this episode that I think will define the kind of long-term standing of the series, is how ultimately the resolution of the Flux is done and whether that's done in a satisfying way. Alongside this, we also have the characters of Yaz, Dan and Jericho trapped in the Williamson tunnels with Williamson in 1904, and Sontarans attacking them. So we're going to have to see how that goes, how the heck they end up back in the present day. There was that mysterious sort of doorways that are in the tunnels, and the sort of 12 different doorways to different worlds, which is obviously how we've seen Williamson turn up on the Temple of Atropos, turn up in Dan's timeline. Like, that's how that, well, it seems to be implied that's how that all happened. There was the mysterious and, notable Endless Death door that was mentioned, and, they make a point of mentioning it which suggests it has some significance. Like, it's always important to look at things that are, they're made a point of mentioning, even if they seem irrelevant at the time, because that surely means it's going to have some sort of relevance in the next episode. And so my kind of prediction for that is, could it be Gallifrey, given we've got the whole destruction of Gallifrey thing having happened, endless death, or is it just hell? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure it just sounds like it has something to do with that, and I feel like it will have some form of relevance in this episode. Now, of course, one of the most significant sort of long-running stories that's gonna, well, get its next chapter at the very least in this episode is the story of the Doctor and her lost memories. Obviously, we had, at the end of the previous episode, Swarm and Azure turn up, Swarm kills Tecteun, and is seemingly about to kill the Doctor. Of course, that's not going to happen, because that's just not, you can't just kill up the Doctor like that. That doesn't work. So somehow that will be jumped around. But then we've clearly seen from the Next Time trailers that the fob watch that contains all the Doctor's memories is opened in some form. Well, the thing is, it doesn't, to me, make any sense narratively for the development of the Doctor, for us, for anything, for the Doctor to get all of her memories back. Because then that just feels like we've done a pointless runaround for 2 series to then go, oh, well, she knows it all now, let's move on. Which, if you give her all her memories back, then she's never going to regurgitate them all for us on screen. But then it just takes away any of the drama of everything that happened. And, she's just going to get them back and go, oh, I did all this bad stuff. Damn, that's bad. Oh, dear. So, like, I think that she'll get little bits of information back. She'll get some of it. Like that sort of mysterious kind of black and white sort of building of houses on top of houses type thing that we've got going on, which I know people said is the House of Lungbarrow. I wouldn't mind if it was. I love a cheeky, New Adventures reference or something. It would be good fun, but it probably isn't. But I think we're going to get some sort of hints of that kind of thing, of her past, sort of more so than we've seen previously, of maybe this was where, she grew up. Was this where the division was, based originally? That was where she was brought into the division or something. I feel like we're going to get little bits and bobs of hints at her past, much more so than we've seen before, but without really committing to either giving her the memories back or really expanding on anything too significantly, almost like leaving it up to us to make our mind up about it. Because the whole point of introducing the Timeless Child, introducing the Doctor's past into this, was to create more mystery around the character, to give us a whole backstory that we didn't know about, so many things that she doesn't know about herself and that we don't know about the Doctor as a character. And if you just give that all back, that instantly takes away all of the mystery that was created by introducing the Timeless Child. So that's why I don't think it can happen. But you could give enough, just little hints of things that happened to kind of create, stories to be told in other media, and create a conclusion of sorts for the audience. My also slightly long-term prediction, which could be way off, but I kind of, given the significance of the lines in Survivors of the Flux, where Tecteun talks about how the Doctor, as the Timeless Child, when Tecteun found her, it was by the wormhole which went into Universe 2, which is the universe we're seemingly going to end up in by the end of this episode. And so I kind of wonder whether, Universe 2, the Doctor's going to end up in there by the end of this episode, and then the specials, maybe run up to the Centenary special, will be focused on her trying to discover her original family, where she was originally from, her original home, original parents, original race that she was a part of. I do wonder whether that's narratively where the story's going to take us. It just seems interesting to kind of give all those possibilities and go, make the point of saying, oh yeah, the Doctor, you were next to the wormhole when you were discovered, and then to kind of just leave it and ignore it. I feel like that would be a surprise. Given we are surely going to Universe 2, wouldn't it also surely make sense to then explore the Doctor's, origins, basically, without maybe explicitly, discovering anything conclusive, because I feel like then that takes away the mystery, as I've said, but maybe go on that journey of attempted discovery. I don't know, I just think that's an interesting theory. Alongside all of this, we have the sort of side plot lines, really, of Vinda and Diane trapped in Passenger. How the heck are they going to get out of there? Because surely Vinda has got to have some sort of confrontation with the Grand Serpent at some point, because the whole setup in episode 3 was, creating that dynamic between them of, Vinda not wanting to do what the Great Grand Serpent wanted him to do, and then him, trying to betray him, and then Vinda getting kind of sent away for it and getting in big trouble for it. So surely there's got to be a comeuppance there, a final confrontation, because that's how it was set up. But I also don't see how the heck that's going to happen when Vinda is trapped in Passenger on this random planet, or presumably with Swarm and Azure now, or on this random planet that didn't seem to have an explanation of what it is, other than it looked like the Gallifreyan Citadel destroyed. I saw people saying that, and I kind of saw it, but it didn't seem to get any impression that it was that. I guess maybe it was, but I didn't really get any impression of that. And so I'm intrigued how they're going to end up doing that. And the same with Diane. Presumably she's going to end up, coming across Dan again at some point. Like, that's got to complete what was started in episode 1 there, even if it's been a bit, it hasn't exactly been explored through these episodes. It kind of just was 5 minutes at the start of episode 1, a hint of it in episode 3, and then the finale. But surely they've got to also meet there. So I think somehow in some form, all of the plot lines are going to draw together, because you've got to have, presumably Swarm and Azure, because they're with Passenger, they've got to meet Yaz and Dan again, who are currently in 1904 Liverpool. So how the heck they're going to actually cross each other, I don't know. But that's surely got to happen to kind of complete those arcs. And obviously you've still got the whole thing about Vinda and Belle, and Belle's unborn child. Presumably they've got to meet again as well, somehow. And then surely they've got to have some more significance as characters, because they've really been introduced, particularly Belle. She's not really been a part of the story at all up until this point, apart from showing off, I guess, the danger of the Flux, and the destruction of the Flux. But, surely, given the amount of focus they've given those characters, they've got to have some more relevance than just being a couple of random characters. That's why, people have said, could they be the Doctor's parents? I guess it's possible. I'm not loving the idea of it, I'm not going to lie to you, but I think it's possible, given they've surely got to have more relevance than this. And so I'm pretty sure that's where the show has kind of left us for now. My kind of prediction would be that somehow Kate and whatever's left of UNIT are obviously going to overthrow the Centaurans and save the Earth in some form. I think that we're going to end up in Universe 2 by the end of this episode. I feel like the bulk of the narrative will be resolved, but there will be overhanging plot threads. Clearly the whole TARDIS, breaking apart thing has nothing to do with Doctor Who Flux, and is actually presumably to do with the New Year's Day special, given the promo pic they put out for that. Exactly what's going on there, I don't really know, but I think that's going to spread into the New Year's Day special, and probably a few other plot strands will as well. As I say, I don't think the Doctor will get all her memories back, but some hints at some memories will be in there. Swarm and Azure, they probably will have served their purpose by the end of this episode, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were kind of destroyed or removed. I don't really see any reason why they're going to turn up again after this. I sort of feel like this is their story, and then it's time to move on. As great villains they are, and I wouldn't mind seeing them again, but I'm not quite sure where they would go with them after this, apart from exploring past adventures, I guess, with them, which could be quite interesting as well. And I'm also interested to see if the Grand Serpent really has any greater plan or connection, apart from just wanting to take over the Earth, seemingly. Is that all he wants to do? Is there something greater to his plan than that? Is he anything to do with, the Master or something? I know some people are, referencing, could the Master turn up in this episode in some form as well? Maybe will the Daleks turn up, given they seem to be rumoured to be a part of the New Year's Day special? Well, obviously we've seen a shot of them, so they're going to turn up in some form, but whether that'll be a tie-in to what's going to happen in the New Year's Day special, I'm very intrigued. So I feel like there's a hecking lot in this. I am kind of concerned that Christian won't be able to wrap this up in 60 minutes. I feel like this needed a longer runtime. I'm surprised it's only, I think, 59 minutes, this total episode. I thought it needed 75, really. Given he's put so much into it, so much to try and resolve, there's surely going to be some shortcuts in there. There's going to be some plot threads that just aren't quite, resolved in as satisfying a way as we would like. And that's a shame, but that is just the nature of having to wrap this all up in 60 minutes. But yes, guys, that's just about all my thoughts and theories. We don't really know much more about what's going to be happening in this episode. We kind of got the general positioning things are at the moment, but how that's all going to come together, cross over each other, and be resolved, I don't know, but I'm really excited to find out. But yeah, guys, please do let me know in the comments below, what are your theories, your predictions for the Vanquishers? I would love to hear what how do you think this is all going to play out? Where do you think we're going to end up at the end of this episode? I really want to hear what you guys have to say about it. But apart from that, guys, please hit that like button, that subscribe button if you're new here, and I will see you again very soon for a brand new video. But until then, it's goodbye.